Good afternoon. We are here for yet another legacy conversation, a special legacy conversation with the one and only. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and ask, for those who do not know you, will you please state your name and how old you are?
Oh dear. Yes, my name is Ruth Temoney, and I'm presently 76 years old, but June 7th, I'll be 77.
Wow. I would like to know, when did you first join Mount Pisgah, and what are your earliest memories of being at the Mount?
Okay. We moved to Kokomo June 1972.
Okay.
And I visited a few other churches in the area. But I decided to go to Mount Pisgah one day. And Mount Pisgah was a church that had a lot of young people. The other churches I had visited didn't have as many youth, and I didn't have children at that particular time. And I thought, I need to be at a church that has a lot of young people still having babies. And there were a lot of babies at Mount Pisgah during that time too. So just the idea of being in a church that was growing, a young church that had young adults. I came home one Sunday and told John, one of the churches I visited, there are a lot of old people there, and there are no children, there are no babies. And then when I went to Mount Pisgah, like I said, children were everywhere. So decided, with the children being there, and of course God puts you where he wants you, we decided to go ahead and join Mount Pisgah. This was about maybe 1973, 74, when I joined Mount Pisgah. And this was the old Mount Pisgah, well, not down on Cooper, the one where it is now, but yes, the new sanctuary hadn't been erected yet. So the old Mount Pisgah, I'm calling it, or the additional part, was where you had to enter from the Sycamore Street side. Right there in the middle was the main door. And now they have it closed in, and I think they store equipment back there. So now you go on the left or you go on the right to get into the Mount Pisgah. I remember that. And then I remember with children, you can't sit up front. So I always sat right there by that glass door that looked into the cafeteria area. No telling when I had to take somebody out.
Escape.
Right. I had to tell out to go to the restroom with the kid. I had two sons, but almost the same seat every Sunday. And it was just a growing church, a flourishing church, a lot of opportunities to serve. And I enjoyed being there. So about 1973, 74 is when we joined.
And so when you guys came here, I think I heard you say that you have visited quite a few churches. Apart from the youth and the vitality of the Mount, what made you want to join?
Well, like I said, it was a lot of young people, the age group of the young people that were there. The environment was very open, very welcome, very loving, youthful. And the interaction that I had with the children that was there and the young adults was great. So like I said, God puts people where he wants them to be, where he needs them to be. And it was just a matter of his placing me there at that particular time.
When you and your late husband, Mr. John Temoney, when you guys started being involved in ministry within the church, because I'm pretty sure yours has to do with children, so I'm
Yes.
excited about that.
As soon as we got there, and of course, you know, you're being a teacher in the public schools, they expect you to teach Sunday school, which
Was it first grade, sixth, seventh, fifth?
yes, those grades, and
All of
second
them? Oh my goodness.
and third grade, and then I did a 2-3 split. I forgot about that at Sycamore. They used to
Wow.
have at that particular time. But I started out with Sunday school as a Sunday school teacher. Third, fourth, I think fifth graders upstairs in the Kemper building, Dr. Kemper building. And enjoyed doing that, working with the young people. Did several vacation Bible schools in the coordinator's role. One of the, well, two of the best Bible schools that I can recall was a block party that we had over at Sycamore School. And we also did a vacation Bible school called Marketplace 29 AD.
Tell me about the block party and the marketplace.
The block party, I got that idea from California.
Okay.
The church had a lot of conferences and conventions, mostly in California. And of course, I had never gone to any of those, even though I was retired. But after I retired, I decided to go to one of those conferences one year. And I think it was the People's Church. Was that the church where you were? But anyway, they had a block party. And they were talking about how they had all the people to come in and everything that they had done. And I thought, boy, that's neat. We can do that. So I had mentioned it, I think, to maybe Pastor Kemper at that particular time. No, Pastor Kemper. No. Pastor Anderson. Sorry.
Okay.
Pastor Anderson at that particular time. And we went for it. It took a while to get it together, but it was housed over at Sycamore School. And I had contacted the person at People's Church in California to give me the steps that they went through and how they orchestrated theirs. And I just taped it to our community. And it was, I think, on a Saturday. It was great. We had basketball tournaments. We had, well, first of all, people, you know, came in to register, and we had about 400 people to register for the block party.
Wow.
We had food, we had music. We were right there on Sycamore Street, so heavily trafficked, people going back and forth. So that caught their interest. They came over. And of course, we had already set up for a basketball tournament with the young people. We had a tent for evangelism to set up. If someone wanted to accept Christ, we had an area for them. And this, I think, is where we started out at the very beginning, for them to go that route. Of course, we had food, we had games, like I said, music, and it was just a fun day.
How long did you guys do that? Was that yearly or was that just the one time?
It was this one time.
Okay.
That we did the block party, which was the culmination of a 3-day vacation Bible school.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because we had the 3-day teaching over at Sycamore 2 on the outside of the building under some of the little shaded areas. This is where we had our vacation Bible school over at Sycamore. And not at Mount Vista.
Wow.
Okay, so we found little shaded spots, and that's where it was. Hopefully the community would come and children were within walking distance that they could get there safely. Absolutely. And enjoy. So we moved off campus that time. And then the Marketplace 29 AD was on the grounds. We have a lot of grounds at Mount Pisgah, all the
Yeah.
way back to Water Place. We had military tent. John was in reserves up at Grissom, so they supplied us with a military tent. They came, they set it up, and they came and took it down, the servicemen. Brother Grady built a well under the tent, a circular well with blocks, cement blocks. And that's where we had our meetings, you might call it. It was called Marketplace 29 AD. It was reenacting the 12 tribes of Israel.
Okay.
And with the 12 tribes, each person who was in, who had registered for Vacation Bible School was placed in a family. And of course, the families they had their banner that was made. And of course, we had Gad and Asher, Dan, Reuben, Naphtali. I'm thinking about the 12 tribes. All the 12.
Yes.
You had an adult, you had children, in that it was a family setting. So whoever was in the family of Asher had an adult person, mostly female. And that's where they went after we met in the sanctuary to start our day. They went to their little tents. We had tents for each tribe, and they had their banner, they had their symbol, they had their name tag that we had made as to which tribe they were. And it was from maybe if the kid could walk, from walking age up to whatever age. They started out the morning making bread in their place. And then over a period of time, they went to the marketplace. And in the marketplace, they could do basket weaving, or they could make coins. We had gotten some little nuggets for them to hammer down. They could do some scribing with the feather and the ink. We made bricks. And there were several other activities that they had. We had a storyteller. And then every now and then we will have somebody coming through, like a leopard coming into the marketplace as people moved around. And of course, at that particular time, lepers were unclean. They weren't supposed to be there with folks. So everybody was trying to shun them. But they were there begging. We had a beggar, we had a leper, we had storyteller, we had a Pharisees to come through.
Wow.
With their, up there, their knowledge of knowing the law and everything. And everybody who got those roles played their part.
Oh my God, I'm trying to imagine that in my head. That sounds so cool.
Pharisees at that particular time was Floyd Tolliver. We had, there was somebody in the community that I had gotten in touch that did belly dancing. So we had them to come and perform for us. And we had camels, llamas. We didn't have horses. We had goats and sheep roaming through the place, just like a regular marketplace back in 29 AD. And then after everybody was in their family, had a chance to tour the marketplace, everybody went to a different station. And this way we got more males, adult males involved. People wouldn't normally participate in Vacation Bible School, but being out like that and doing that manual type work, they enjoyed it. We had a lot of males willing to help and participate at that particular time.
I'm going to say that Oliver was the first person I interviewed, and he did not mention that. I'm going to have to
he probably
ask
forgot
him about that next Sunday.
But he was a Pharisee. Floyd played that part quite well. But anyway, and of course, like I said, it took at least a year to get that going. We had in the background, ladies were making costumes. Each person had on their um, costumes out of a pillowcase. Just take a pillowcase and cut the neck out, cut the arms out. And that's for the little children, or they could take a sheet and sew it up. So we had the Helping Hands group to start working on the costumes for everybody to have one of those to wear. And it was just great. We had a lot of background work. Like I said, we did made bricks, so we had to go to the masonry place and ask for some supplies. We just went all over town asking for supplies
I
free.
guess that was
And
what made you even take that on.
again, another visit at a different church. There was a church in Kokomo. I can't remember where it was. It wasn't, I think it was a Presbyterian church that I had visited, and they had done Marketplace 29 AD. I think the year before, a couple of years prior. And I thought, we can do that.
Wow.
So we did.
Wow.
And there was a syllabus, a book that we had to order to follow through. We had various foods at that time. We had figs, we had dates, of course, various other fruits. The bread that they made in the mornings, each morning, the bread that they would make, we had that as a culmination, or bread and honey. We made honey, we made butter, we didn't make honey. We had honey, they made butter. And that was almost like the little food they ate during the day. But that Friday with the culmination, we had a big feast, and it was beautiful. And at that particular time, Pastor Kemper was living, and Pastor Kemper played a role. I forget what role he was, but he did a role.
I wonder if he was one of the Pharisees.
No, he wouldn't have made a good Pharisee. So. I don't know what role he played, but I know he enjoyed. And he was there every day in his little garb. And it was a fun time. We had people kids coming from everywhere. We tried to coordinate. Wayman had their vacation Bible school, and then Second would have theirs, and then Grace would have theirs. Or at that particular time was Straight Gate, Straight Way. Anyway, we tried to find a time when the other vacation Bible schools hadn't started yet. Right. So, and then kids just go from one vacation Bible school group to another.
Right. Probably all of June was VBS June, basically.
Yeah. Yes.
Would you say that was the culture of the Mount at that time, to even, because I think it's great that everyone was willing to participate and partner with you, even if they didn't go to our church. So was that the climate of the church at that time that allowed for just the helping and the participation in that way?
It was. Like I said, one thing about Mount Pisgah, they were always willing to do something different. And if I got a proposal or something of this nature to Pastor Camper or to the group, okay, let's do it. Let's go for it.
Wow.
And I got permission. You run with it.
I love that. I love that. How has being a part, so I heard you say that you did children's church for a number of years and you directed Vacation Bible School for a number of years. Were there any other ministries that you were a part of?
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, please keep them going.
I got a list here. I coordinated with Pastor Anderson. Pastor Anderson sits in his office and you pass by his door, he'll call you in. And oh Lord, what does he want me to do now?
What does he want now?
Yes,
absolutely. We love you, Dad, but you do ask a lot sometimes.
Yeah. Well, when he was there, I try not to pass by his door. But anyway, I was coordinated the Tuesday night Bible study under his desire. I taught evangelism classes. I was a disciplee. At that particular, we had a drama ministry, and with Maybell and myself, we kind of spearheaded that for a while.
Just a general drama ministry, or was this for the kids?
It was for the kids and adults.
Really?
Adults both participated. We would do, especially around Resurrection Sundays time and Christmas, we would do plays. And we had adults, especially the males. I tried to get the males involved in as much as I could, the adult males, because, people, if you ask them, they're willing to help out. If you don't ask, they get back. But we had, of course, that time we had people coming from Grissom Air Force Base into Mount Pisgah. And we had several males to participate in just about everything that I had asked them to do, which was great. That was with the drama minister. And of course, I taught at the F.D. Reese Christian Academy. We had a scholarship committee with the Helping Hands at the particular time, and I served on that. In charge of Black History Program, which kind of went into with the drama ministry. In February, we would do the Black History Program. And there was one year, we had several people attending Simmons Bible College. And one of the classes, Simmons Bible College is an HBCU, and they had class at Mount Pisgah, and I taught speech class. That was one of the subject matters that needed to be taught in order for them to gain credit. I think we had about 12 people participating with Simmons Bible College. Some went over for a while, and then they came back, and then they got where one of the classes to be taught at Mount Pisgah. So I taught that class. And then, of course, I set up the nursery when we had the new building erected. And and of course, like I said, with teaching Sunday school. Anything else that I saw that needed to be done, I did.
That's a lot of ministries. That's a lot of ministries.
A Tuesday night Bible class, what Pastor Anderson had wanted me to do was make sure everybody had a place to teach. Everybody got to their place to make sure when we had new people coming in, the children or the adults would know which class they were to go to, and just walk around and make sure everything was going well. If teachers needed anything, to make sure they got their supplies and whatever else that they needed, and to make sure the classes were going okay.
So you were like the Christian education, I don't know what the role is. No. Okay.
At that particular time, Janie Purnell was over that.
Okay.
This was something that Pastor Anderson had asked me to do, but I think that did fall under Janie Purnell's umbrella with the ministry. But it was just coordinating, just make sure the doors were unlocked so people could get in their classrooms, that they had the equipment that they needed, and just walk around to make sure everything was going on.
Okay.
Of course, at that particular time, we had 3 Bible studies. We had Tuesday night, which was mostly family night, and then Wednesday morning for people who worked on Tuesday, in the evenings on Tuesday. Wednesday morning, mostly for those persons who didn't, who were off work, or the older, some of the senior saints. And then on Saturday, we had another Bible study. And I think they still do that now. Saturday Bible study in the Word.
So the role that I'm aware of the most is your role at FD Reese. So talk to us about what FD Reese is, how it started, if you were a part of that, because I have a sneaky suspicion that you were, and how you became involved in all of that, because I do believe that FD Reese is a part of the church as well. or at
Yes.
least part of the vision of church members. So talk to me about FD and your involvement.
Okay. Pastor Anderson had a vision of having a school on the premises. And of course, it was discussed, looked into, and eventually it became a reality. I forget the year that happened, but it was set up in the old part of Mount Pisgah. We had, and I'm I'm gonna have to
And
really,
whatever you can remember, it's okay.
okay. Um, sometimes I just like to be present and listen
Uh-huh.
and then do what I can do
Yes.
at that particular time. And this may sound, yes, I was involved. I would say I was
You were
indirectly.
very involved. You were very integral in that process. I listen, it is not lack of humility to say that you were an instrumental part of that, because I know that even after you moved, you were referenced a lot.
But
You
yeah,
were
yeah,
referenced a lot. And so
I guess
I
I
just
probably
believe you probably
valid.
were part.
After I moved, I can remember that clearly. Um, we formed a school board per se, and Frank Bellamy was, I think that went on for about 3 years. He was the president of the school board, which was
Okay.
great. And of course, Frank had been on the Kokomo Center School Board for several years.
I did not know that. I did not.
Uh-huh. He was a member of Mount Pisgah and lived right across the street, so he was willing to take on that position for us. And I served on that with the getting the school and the rooms together, the physical part. We worked real hard on cleaning out, deciding where each classroom needed to be, deciding when we were doing our cleaning, you have your Sunday school books, you had trophies, you had a whole lot of other things that were very dear and near to that the church had wanted to save. So you had to decide what you wanted to keep, what you thought could be moved somewhere else. So the physical part helped with getting the classrooms ready, which was a lot of work. And getting materials, that was child size materials in, um, trying to get monies, find a way to get monies in order to purchase what was needed. One of the things, Devon at that particular time, he had the store up on Washington Street. We got a lot of things, a lot of supplies from him. Some churches, I think it was at Sycamore School, they were giving away desks. We went and got some desks from somebody. And we just kept our ears open as to who we can get what from or what we
Absolutely.
had to pay for, but whatever was free, we were right there, Johnny, on the spot to get, the truck to go pick these up. And with that, I want to say that's the part mostly that I was interested or I participated in, just getting the physical pieces there in the building. And of
Yeah.
course, needed a teacher. I just tried to help out as much as I could.
So when FD started, what grade did it start from?
Repeat.
When FD started, what were the grades? Was it just kindergarten and then you guys kind of looped each year and added grades, or was it always kindergarten to third or kindergarten to fifth, or what grade levels did it start with?
I knew we had a pre-K, um, pre-K and kindergarten, and first and second grade at that particular time. And I think the high, well, then we put in a third grade. And I think the highest grade was the fourth grader.
Okay.
But fourth grader probably came after I left. But I remember a pre-K up to grade 3. And of course, the after-school program they had, which was good. Students could come over from Sycamore School, and they got a little
Help with,
snack, and
yeah.
then they got help or assistance with their homework. I went in when they needed a teacher after I retired, and they needed a teacher. I was
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever going to let you retire. That's what I'm hearing throughout this entire story. That every time you try to retire, that people keep calling you out of retirement. So
uh-huh.
I don't think, I guess it's just not meant for you to retire.
And I was down there every day just to help out, I would say, until they really needed somebody to step in on that particular class that I took over.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. It's been a while, but it was my intent of just helping set the school up.
Okay. And you've done a lot of things. If you don't want to say it, I'm gonna say it. You've definitely done a lot. And so in all of those roles that you've had, mostly leadership roles, how did that develop you spiritually?
Well, one thing I found out, even in leadership roles, you still and wanting to make everything you do great, or you want to make sure everything goes well.
Sure.
So sometimes you have to be able to
Adjust or adapt.
adjust to your having some uh, stumbling blocks in the way just because you want to do it and you've done so many other things. Everybody's not going to pat you on the back and say, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that. You just go
So
ahead.
it
Oh,
can be a
God, we know what you're
thankless,
working.
it can
We
be a thankless job. Yeah.
So yes, but spiritually, I realized that I've had to, everything that's happened and turned out, everything that's happened, you really have to make sure you're doing it for, not for yourself, that you want to please God with what you're doing. You want it
Why
to
is
be,
that important? Why is that important?
that is important because you want to do your best. You don't want to do something that you want to put as much time as you can. You don't want to do things at the last minute. You want it to be as detailed as possible in case you had to step away or you're not there, whoever is doing, and write down as much as you can in case somebody else may have to step in your place. But sometimes you have a little setback where you get a few no's. You can't, not you can't do this, but no, we're not going to let you do this, um, um, or and you just find another way around. I just find another way around getting things done.
So get used to understand that you may not be thanked and understand that you are going to have hardship. So get
Yes,
the stumbling
and
block.
yes, you got to find a way
So you got to
to
be a problem
get
solver.
around those things because everybody is not going to cater to you. I put it that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Are there any people that you can think of that had an impact on you and your family at Mount Pisgah from beginning from when you first arrived to when you moved away?
Um, Everybody who has served at Mount Pisgah has left their footprints. They've done well. I can't, well, I can pinpoint my buddy Reba, my buddy Patricia, and of course, darling Sister Purnell.
So tell me about them. Tell me how they've impacted you.
Those are the ladies um, we all had the same mindset, sort of.
Okay.
So when you have people with like-minded, you have that group there, and you can depend on them. If you say you want to do something, or you want to talk something over with someone to see how things sound, how things are going, and they were progressive ladies. They moved. They were movers and shakers.
Yes.
Remember Janie and Reba doing the women's retreat at the Tipton Sister House, many years, and them just being behind you or having you in their corner. Reba and I did, and I don't know if anybody ever mentioned the Alpha House.
No, tell me about that.
The Alpha House was it was a building right next to the church. It was a
Okay.
house, and we used that for Sunday school for children. Like we wanted to do something like a little children's church. And so parents would drop their children off there, and we would do little church ministries. It's a house where Pastor Barrett used to live. There. It's demolished now. So we kind of started out there, and we always tried to do something where we could get the kids a little more involved, a little more knowledge, a little more feeling like they belong with them doing things. So we did that for a while, and then we moved to the where FD Reese is now, to that little area for a while where we were working with children. So those three ladies, like I said, we all had the same mindset. We had a heart for children. We had a heart for God. We wanted to do service work, and we were willing to do that by any means necessary.
I
and
love it.
some and sometimes it was that way, and it was done, and um, I think a lot of people benefited from it.
Absolutely. I think having a supportive community anywhere is important.
Yes.
When you have like your faithful few who are, I heard someone talk about accountability partners, how that was a thing uh,
Oh, yes.
out the church. Uh,
Hmm.
who was your accountability person?
Well, like I said again, maybe Reba, not maybe, but probably Reba. Janie, she still calls and we still talk, and Patricia.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you were to offer anyone uh, a piece of advice as far as working in the ministry, in any ministry, honestly, because you've done a little bit of everything. We have people who are doing them now in 2024, especially working with youth. Um, what piece of advice would you give them?
You got to realize you can't do it all.
Mm,
You're not the only one who have all the talents and skills. Other people can do things, and other people have talents and skills. You need to know what your strengths are and your weaknesses. I can't go and sing in the choir. That's not that's not.
Oh, stop, Miss Temoney. I bet you could.
Oh, Alex, with your voice like that. Oh, I just love your voice. But no, but I tried, and I have in my younger days. They needed somebody else in the choir stand. I went right up there. I was the one before I came to Indiana, the other church where I was. I ushered. I was at the door. If they needed an usher, I looked back there. Nobody's back there. I'll go back there and usher. Look in the choir stand. They got three people in the choir stand. I would go up in the choir stand and sing it. And of course, that was allowed. So wherever I saw a need, I jumped in. But at Mount Pisgah, I knew I couldn't go up in the choir stand. So you got
That is the one place I'm not going.
and you got to know that other people have talents that they can share. You just have to ask them sometimes if they're willing to take that chance to do this for you or to do that, and encourage them. I'm an encourager. and encourage them that they can do it. And they'll follow through for you. They won't let you down. But bottom line is you can't do it all. Delegate. People are willing to help out if you ask them.
Absolutely.
And know what your strengths are and your weaknesses, and let other people do things.
Mm-hmm. And not being afraid to, like, whatever it is that that isn't your strong point, allowing other people to pick up. Is that what I hear you saying?
Right.
Because
And
that is hard to do.
start training people too. Let them know, hey, yeah,
What's the
training
importance of
people,
training people? Stay right there. What's the important, what is the importance of training others?
you got to have people to replace you over a period of time. You're going to either move away, or things are going to change, or you're going to step down. You just got to have somebody there who's ready to take that position. So to take your place. So you're going to have to do some training. You're going to have to have someone alongside you that you can work with or have worked with in case you are not there anymore. They can step in and take your place. You have to always do that.
And the phone conversation we had during the interview, but
Yeah.
I still felt everyone's sadness at you leaving. And so I shared the same thing with another interview that I had, but I do want to let you know that foundation has been laid. Your presence has been felt in this community, and I'm sure it's sorely missed to this day. And so I'm sure a lot of people have said it to you. But I want to say, just interviewing, I want to say thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for everything that you and your husband have done. When you had children, I'm sure it was a sacrifice for them as well. First of all, I feel bad for teachers' kids. I don't have kids, but anyone teaching in public school and you have kids, like, teachers know. So doing that and then having to go into ministry where that's synonymous with the same thing, I'm sure that also was some of the sacrifice for your children. And so I want to thank you for everything that you have poured out into every single one of Kokomo's youth, whether they're a member of the Mount or not. And I want to thank you for your willingness to be a part of your church body and not just a sidebar participant. You weren't on the bench or the bleachers, but you got in there, and you were not only getting in there, but you were dreaming big dreams, and you were having wild visions that you were absolutely willing to execute. And I don't care what anybody says, that's bravery. What do you think? This will be my final question, unless there's anything that you'd like to share with me. But what do you think is the most significant aspect of Mount Pisgah's history that you feel should be remembered or celebrated? What is Mount Pisgah's legacy to you?
That it is a church in the community that reaches out. It takes in all of God's people who are willing to come. That when you get to Mount Pisgah, you can feel the love.
Yeah.
You can expect to find one person who you can go to and talk with and feel comfortable with that person. Again, like I said, it reaches into the community. You do the soul to soul. You have other activities or events where the community is aware of some of the uh, things that they can expect from the Mount. And it just takes in everybody.
Yeah.
All you have, and I not just pastor, but you have people who are willing to just love on you, um, to make you feel like you're the most important person in the world.
Yeah.
once you get there. And that's great. And people need that, regardless of what you've done, where you come from, who you are, who your family is, or what your family's done. You can go to the Mount and feel like you're part of a loving group of people.
So it's the place where you belong, period. I love that. Is there anything else that you want to share with me?
Yes, I would like to say this. I don't recall if anybody remember. Well, they should. Mount Pisgah used to have a ladies softball team.
What? Dang, I wish I had gotten that before my last question. How did that start?
That, like you have all your churches, and during the summer they would get together and they come up with the softball team. It was on Saturday. We played, where did we play? I think at one of the parks. And I say we because I was on the team.
You were on the softball team. Did Marcella play? I know she plays softball.
Oh yeah, Marcella, Stephanie,
I believe it.
They raise up that hand when they get ready to hit. They go and tap that bat on the on the
wow.
plate. And those were young girls, and they swung those bats. Jenny's sister, Stephanie, Bernard, Marcella. I see, we had another young lady, but there were several of us. Anyway, I could hit, but I couldn't run, and I couldn't catch. But I was on the team.
No. She said I could do one thing, not all three.
I couldn't do all three of them, but I was on the team. We were faithful. Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, or whenever our time was, mostly 10 o'clock. But we played people from Second Baptist girls. The church where Pastor Glenn is, whatever the name of that church is.
I'm not familiar. I don't know.
Let's see. I was tipping my tongue. But anyway, his church, Grace Memorial, Wayman, Straight Gate, I think Straight Gate. There were about maybe 6 or 7 church groups. And of course, it was all Black church groups.
And you guys were all playing against each other.
Right.
Wow.
And of course, some of those girls would come looking good. They would have their makeup on.
Playing softball. Listen, I'm going to hit the ball and look good.
It was a lot of fun. Women's softball team. I mentioned about the Alpha House. I'm trying to go down this here and see what else I didn't mention.
No, ma'am. No worries. I'm sorry.
Okay, that was about it.
But I didn't. Softball team even get started.
Anybody remember that? But Jenny could give you the history of the
softball team. You just know you hit the ball.
Yes, that's all I could do. I could hit.
I love it.
I couldn't catch a bit. John tried to teach me to catch. Now, of course, John played baseball in high school, and he was great. He was good. He still played when he got to be an adult. We moved down here. But it was fun. So between Simmons Bible College and our softball team and the drama group, I think everything else had been mentioned.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There's like 15 questions on here, but I think you kind of touched on all of the questions, and they're more of a guide anyway. So I don't ask every single question in order. I just like to talk to people.
Yes.
I just like to talk to people. There's no organization in talking, not for me.